Welcome to the Focus Garage. Today, we're in the garage actually, and we're going to talk about the special car that just got released on Monday. And you want to tell them what it is?
Yeah, we're going to be covering the Dodge Challenger Hellcat Demon in this episode, telling you what we think about the car, what's unique, what we like, what we don't like, and how it compares to what else is out there, if there's anything out there you can compare this car to.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare because it's a purpose-built car. It's not really meant for street, or it's not meant for anything else but going straight on a line.
Yeah, Dodge literally built this car to go to a drag strip, launch the car, and make that quickest quarter-mile pass that you can possibly do. The fastest that they claim in any production car ever. Yeah,
that's crazy. And we're going to talk about the engine, what's new about it. We're going to talk about the transmission. We're going to talk about the other electronic stuff in it that helps it launch that good. And then we're going to talk about the interior, what's in there.
What's not in there.
What's not in there. And then we're going to talk about some other cars that are like kind of related to the Dodge, the Demon, but it's not really. And then we're going to talk about how the dealers are going to actually sell this car, you know?
Yep.
So let's start with the engine. Engine is a 6.2 Hemi with a 2.4 liter.
2.7.
Sorry, the Hellcat had a 2.4.
Yep.
2.7 liter supercharger that it's producing 808 horsepower with a 91 octane gas. And you can get the optional race gas tune with a crate, and you can make up to 848
or something
848,
like that. Yeah.
Let's say 850 horsepower. So this is not a crazy number.
No.
Like, there's a lot of supercars that are making, but they're not making less than $100,000.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They can't even touch it.
Yeah, this is a bargain if you're just looking at horsepowers.
Yeah, let's touch on that real quick. As far as pricing-wise goes, you know, they haven't given like an exact MSRP yet, but they said that it will come in under $100,000.
Yeah.
Most people are projecting around $85,000.
Yeah,
so
$80,000 to $85,000. That's what they're expecting.
So we'll focus on that when we're kind of comparing it to other stuff in this episode here.
And the engine. So the displacement is same as the Hellcat, but it's a totally different engine.
Yeah. So a lot of people think you just slapped a bigger blower on the Hellcat, and you couldn't be more wrong with that. You were telling me about it before the episode, so if you want to maybe kind of explain, what are some of the big changes they made here?
So the biggest changes are the internals. They're completely different to take that beating from that 850 horsepower. And the other thing is they made it more reliable, because when you're running more horsepower, you're going to get a lot of heat coming from the engine.
Especially when you're supercharged with a root-style blower like that. A lot of heat comes up in those setups.
And to be able to do that, they increased the cooling capacity of the engine, and then they beefed up the pistons and the rods and some other stuff. So they're saying 50% of the engine is completely different than the Hellcat engine. And
the cooling system. So let's talk about how they dissipate that heat. This car, and I think this is another first in a production car.
Yeah, it is a first in production.
Uses Freon from the air conditioning to cool the blower and to cool the engine. So, you know, the car has got AC from the factory, you know, so it's no compromises there. And it uses that same concept in the air conditioning to cool your cabin to cool your engine. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cooling the charged air, not the entire
engine. The entire engine itself. Not like coolant, but it's cooling your charged air that's going through the engine. And
they're saying that it doesn't matter what the temperature, it doesn't matter what the humidity is out there in the weather. It cools down to 45 degrees Fahrenheit, period.
That's it.
You're pushing doesn't matter if it's like 150 degrees outside. You're pushing 45 degrees
for your charge times.
Yeah, for air going into your engine. And it's like, what, 16, 18 PSI boost?
Maybe I have to check. That might be a little bit high.
Yeah, but it's around like 14 to 18
somewhere
PSI.
There.
Somewhere around there. Well, I mean...
But take a second just to reflect how much displacement comes out of that blower. 2.7 liters. That's bigger than the engines in our Focuses. This blower makes more displacement than our entire cars make.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Hellcat had a 2.4. That was still bigger than... And it's insane. Like, the supercharger that on that car is insane. And
how does it get the power to the ground? So what's new about the car here?
Transmission. Let's talk about the transmission. The other important part of the putting down the power.
There's no manual? Oh, this car is for pussies. Oh.
Can you launch a car with 850 horsepower? I'm not saying if you're a professional. I'm saying if
It
you're a
doesn't matter.
regular Joe
Yeah.
trying to launch a car at 850 horsepower with like two-wheel drive, it's hard. So the biggest thing is that you gotta control the launch and you gotta control the wheel hub.
Yep.
So this transmission does the both thing. And this is also first in the production car as well. It has a transmission brake. Where's the transmission
Yeah, it's got a
brake?
trans brake. I saw that. I couldn't believe that.
This has a trans brake from the factory in a production car. What it is holds the first gear and the reverse at the same time. And when you're pushing the car, when you're pushing the gas to get the RPMs up to spool up that supercharger, the car doesn't creep.
It holds the transmission.
Holds the transmission, and you stay there at the line. You're not creeping, and then you touch either pedal, it launches.
Gone. Yeah. So it almost works as like a launch control. It allows you to, leave the line making boost and, minimize wheel spin and minimize wheel hop. And another thing too, this is another production first to have drag slicks, street legal drag slicks on the car. It's running a special Nitto NTO5R made specifically for this car. So that's really one of the biggest visual differences is it's got these fender flares to fit these huge
315s,
on the car, and it's a really cool stance with it.
Yeah.
But that's how you put the power down between the trans brake, that launch control system that it's got, and then the drag slicks. That's how this car is launching so consistently and so extreme.
Yeah, it's insane. Like they were showing the teaser videos, like how the ripples and all that stuff on the
car wheelies.
Oh my god! Yeah,
another first production car to be able to pull a wheelie. Dodge will even sell you a drag pack for this car that comes with little skinny front runners, so you can really pull those wheels off the ground.
Which the only reason they put a 315 square tires in this car is because so you can take the front tires off and then run your rears, and then when they're like all heat up or they're wearing off, just swap them. Just put the fronts in the back, and then continue your pass.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting. And let's talk about the launch control. What engine does actually?
Okay.
So this is not a turbocharger. This is a supercharger. To be able to build boost, the engine's supposed to be
Needs RPMs.
in a load. Yeah.
Yep.
So to be able to achieve that, engine shuts off half of the cylinders. So the half of the cylinders are working, and then closes the valves, but your intake valves are closed, but your exhaust valves are open. So you're still air is going through, and then your supercharger is boosting. So when you're taking off when the Christmas tree goes green, you have boost on demand. Like you have the boost, just like
it's there.
Take off. Yeah. And that's the one thing that helps the car go into mid-nines,
Yeah.
So we talked about the engine. We kind of talked about the transmission. This car, how does it control the wheel hub? The other thing that transmission helps is with the wheel hub.
Yeah.
Would you like to explain that to them?
Yeah, so what's unique about this car is it's actually got sensors to monitor the yaw and angle of the transmission to help control the throttle modulation when you're launching this car, when you're accelerating, and when there's wheel hop. So if it senses, a lot of wheel hop or something like that, it's actually going to dial back the power that it's putting down and help, adjust that so you can get a smooth, clean launch out of the car, in accordance with everything else that the car is doing. So a lot of computer systems are on this car to making sure that you get that proper smooth launch in order to, run those 9-second passes that this car is capable of.
I mean, you would be destroying everything when you're think about it, your wheel is hopping in the back and just
you'll blow up your differential, you'll blow up your trans, you'll snap axles. Yeah, it'd be ugly, man, if this car didn't have anything to mitigate wheel hop.
Yeah, and I mean it's amazing. To be able to do that 9-second, they also remove everything in the interior.
Yeah, so seats are optional. If you buy this car as is, a base model, you're only getting a driver's seat. What's interesting about this is you can get a passenger seat and you can get a rear seat for the car, but they're $1 options each. So most people that are buying these cars, they're going to want to drive around the streets, rip their friends around in the car. They'll probably get those seats as options. But Dodge is so serious about selling this car as, a performance drag strip car that they will literally sell it to you with one seat, a driver's seat only in the car. And
that's awesome.
They only come with 2 speakers too, and it's only for the audio chime for when your door's open or your seatbelt's not buckled. So
who had that?
Chevy did.
ZR28 had that, just one.
The Z28 Camaro,
Z28 Camaro had that where there was just for the signals. Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of people are gonna be if they're really serious about drag racing, they still gonna take this on the street and they want to show it to their friends. Like why would you want to buy a car that can do like
Pull up to your friend's house and you can't take them for a ride because sorry, bro, I literally don't have a seat.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are gonna go for that option, even though like they're serious drag racers. They're still gonna go for that option because I mean they have girlfriends at least or boyfriends, whatever, like. And they want people to be in the car with them and share the happiness and share the joy of this car. And I think a lot of people are going to option for that. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see one in real world, actually. I'm very excited to see one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So what Dodge did with this is they're making it a relatively exclusive car. They said they're going to make 3,000 for the United States and I think another 500 for Canada. So,
300 for
300 for Canada. Yeah. So you're looking at maybe 3,300 of these cars. Yeah. And I can probably almost guarantee you that they're not going to have any problem selling these vehicles.
I don't think... Well, let's dial back.
All right.
If Dodge was selling it for the MSRP, they would not have any problems. But, I mean, dealers, they either make the car or break the car.
Yep.
I mean, it comes to them, and if they start with the markups, like they did it with every other special car...
Just watch the first few hundred of these. Will probably have $10,000 to $20,000.
10 to 20. I was gonna say 30.
30 maybe even. Yeah. Look at the GT350s. That's true. Those cars have $30,000-$40,000 markups on them. Just because. I mean, market. I mean, yeah, it's a free market. Yeah, like they can do whatever they want. There's a demand. But someone at Dodge worked really hard to get this program under
going.
a budget. Yeah.
I mean, they told Dodge that this will sell. This car is gonna sell, and we should make it at this price point. Yeah, and then we're gonna make money. Either make money or break even. Or they're actually talking about they didn't make this car to make money. They make this car. They
made it to make a point.
That they want people to come to the Dodge dealers or Chrysler dealers and take a look at other cars.
Yep. This is literally a marketing car. Yeah, this isn't something you're going to get rich off of because, I mean, it's limited production, 3,000 cars.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, these people that make these cars, first of all, props to Dodge for even making a car like this.
Kudos to you. What can I say?
The fact that you guys literally made a car that its sole purpose is to run a 9-second quarter mile and drive it to and from the track, that's awesome. But like you're saying, it's a whole team of people that make this car and propose a budget and say, we're going to make this car, so we'll be able to do this, and we're going to sell it for this price. And then it goes to a dealer and gets sold $30,000 more expensive to it, and then people get confused why it's not selling.
And people they're gonna be backing this car is so expensive, it's not worth it. I don't want to spend this money. And then you're gonna see all these demons just sitting on the showrooms, and
it's gonna be a failure.
Yeah, Dodge is gonna be going to the engineer or the sales people. They're gonna be like, "What happened? Yeah. I thought this was a great idea," and then. That's how you lose performance out of the car, the company. They're not gonna make any performance cars because dealers are fucking people over.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that once you start hitting dealerships, once people start buying them. I think maybe there'll be an initial markup hype, and then it might die down after a couple months once people start getting them in their hands.
Yeah.
But man, it's a capable car. Do you want to talk about the competition a little bit? Does it have competition, or how do you want to explain that?
So here's the thing: there should be criteria where this is a car that goes on the drag strip on the
a purpose built.
It's a purpose built, but you can drive from your house to the drag strip. There is no other car that can run
this
9 seconds that you can drive from your house to the strip. You have to trailer it the Copo Camaros, Cobra Jet Mustangs, and then even Dodge had it before. It was a track pack Challengers.
Yeah.
So these didn't have any VIN.
No VIN number. You can't put plates on them. Nope. You can't go to your DMV and register them.
Yeah.
Except for this demon, you can. So what Dodge was able to accomplish with this car is they basically built a car that's dealer ready to compete with these drag strip purpose cars that you can't register, but this car you can, and you can drive it. Put your insurance on it, have plates on it. You could drive it to work if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean
it's a perfectly tame car to drive on the street. It's not going to be idle surging, like somebody built a car in their garage with a big turbo or something like that. It's a perfectly normal car to drive.
Yeah, they were talking about how this car is going to be perfect to drive as a daily. You wouldn't be sacrificing all that stuff. And I think that's another thing. People are talking about how this car is banned from NHRA.
Oh yeah.
How it's doesn't have a cage and it's running 9 seconds. And to be honest, you can't put a cage
in a production car.
In a production car.
It's unsafe. What if you get in an accident and your
Yeah.
body parts are hitting the cage, you know?
You have to be doing a lot of testing to be able. You have to be doing like crash testing. You have to be doing.
It still
other
has standards to meet.
Yeah, and then there's a thing that you cannot get into a car with a cage without a helmet.
Yeah.
Period.
So they can't sell a production car with a cage. Then you'd be back in that class of like the Copel Camaro or like the Cobra Jet Mustang. You can't register this thing if it has a cage. So that was a compromise they had to make.
Yeah, and I think it's okay.
It's a good compromise.
Yeah, it's a good compromise. I mean, if you really want to go 9 seconds and in that car,
Good for you.
put a
Kudos to
cage.
you.
I mean, you can do it once or twice, and then your drag strip is gonna be like, "Hey, buddy, get out of here."
Exactly. And that's actually a common misconception. While we still got a couple minutes I want to talk about there. A lot of people are like, well, it's so stupid. Why would they build a car that's a drag racing car but doesn't have a cage so you're going to get kicked out of the track? The odds are of somebody going there on the 91 octane tune with the tires and, you know, the seats in the car and an amateur driver running those 9-second quarter miles, probably not. They'll probably be somewhere in the tens. So you're probably not going to have to worry about needing a cage anyways.
Yeah.
You know? What NHRA banned it from was competitive racing because it's an automatic car and it's, you know, a factory built car. It's too consistent. So if you're doing bracket drag racing, you're going to be running the same time, pass after pass after pass, and that's unfair to other cars that don't have all of the technology that this car has to be able to do that. So that's what they mean when it's banned from, you know, competitive racing. You can still, you know, take this to your local drag strip and run the car till you're sick of it. You know?
I think you should too. Don't put this car in a garage.
Please
and
don't make this collectors only.
Yeah,
I want to see these at the drag strips this year or next year or whatever.
Yeah, like go do a burnout on your fucking street. You know? go to the drag
Get
strip.
kicked out of your neighborhood. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the one thing that I hope it doesn't happen is that like it just becomes a garage queen and it doesn't get driven because
It was meant to be driven.
yeah, it's not fair for that car. It's so sad, and I think that's it. Is there anything else?
I think from like a high level overview, that hit most of what we want to talk about this car. It will be interesting though for you guys watching this video. Let us know in the comments below. What are your thoughts about this car? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I know a lot of people are like, well, you know, I'd rather build my own car, and like that's not the point. You don't get it if that's your response to this car.
When you
know?
build your car, there's no
compromise.
warranty. You can do whatever you want to it. This is a car that you buy from the Dodge with a warranty. And you don't have to do anything to it. Just put gas in it and go to the drag strip. Yeah.
It is literally the be-all, end-all. There's not another car that you can buy for this purpose in this price point to do this task.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing close to it. So, you know, it's so incredible that we live in a time where automotive enthusiasts still get to see something like this built from a manufacturer.
Amazing, yeah.
It really is. So, you know, definitely, if you have the means to buy a car like this, you know, support Dodge. It is cool, but, you know, don't be so simple-minded and objectified against this car for what it is, because what they wanted to accomplish, they really did.
I think they did, too. And I think they did a great job for putting that car together. And I can't wait to see it on the street, hopefully.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments what you think about the car. You know, do you like it? Do you not like it? Are there topics that we missed about it?
And what do you think is the competition for this car? We couldn't come up with it. I don't think.
Yeah. Other
I
than
don't
those,
think
the
any of
Copel
the
Camaro,
Camaros or
the
like
Cobra Jet.
the regular Camaros or the Mustang can compete with this.
And please don't say the Exorcist Hennessy Camaro, because that's not a factory-built car.
That's
you know,
not a production
It's
car.
a performance package added onto a car.
Yeah.
It's the same as saying like a Roush Mustang or something like that. It's different, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, you know, that's us signing off. We'll catch you in the next one.
Yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I just want to do a shout out. We just hit 100.
I wish 100,000. We hit 100 subscribers.
100 subscribers. Yeah, I think it's great. Kudos to all who subscribe. Yeah, have a nice fucking day.
This is the longest ending ever. We're just gonna. Woo! We'll see you guys next time.